So as with the last bonfire, I am definitely gonna kindle this one, just because... Oh, am I? You know, I don't actually care to. I was thinking I might do it, but honestly, there is one fight here that I would consider it for, and I think I can take it from here. This isn't really a hub area, but if this is your first time playing the game, I do strongly recommend kindling it as you wander through the through this area. Because for one thing, it makes just charging through the poison of the swamp much easier. And you know, just having that and having that extra buffer is very useful. There we go. So hey, let's explore the swamp. We get invaded by Dark Spirit Man-Eater Mildred. This, as you might expect, is an NPC. Let's try not to get ourselves poisoned here. Jeez. You'll notice that she actually wields the same butcher knife that the enemies, or that the butchers used. Do you not come in here? Okay. Although she also doesn't wear any armor. If you have the ability, I would definitely recommend luring her out here where you won't be attacked by mosquitoes. I say as some mosquitoes come and attack me. But it's much less likely that you'll be attacked by random enemies. Plus, you'll just have a lot more room to fight her in general. You'll notice that she is not slowed by walking in the swamp, while you will be, so this is just the easiest place to do it. We got some humanity, and just to make sure that you know, you can get a butcher knife from her, so makes it perfectly clear that she's an NPC. You'll also notice that there are finally actually some summon signs for us, and these are other players that we can summon for this. They haven't been showing up in other areas for reasons that I honestly can't fathom, but we're finally... They can only show up in an area if you yourself have not yet beaten the boss. So a lot of the time when we've had areas that were online, it was after we had beaten the boss, so we never really saw any. I might do that for this boss fight, but I don't really know. That's a ways in the future though, because first we're gonna do some exploring. I just don't know which way to go first, honestly. Let's go over, yeah, this way. So this is back towards the enemies, or the rundown at the end of the swamp that we got, or at the end of the Upper Blighttown area that we got to. That whole setup is over there, but if you're wandering down here, you can really get a good view of the architecture. One interesting thing that you could actually see briefly over there is that we are, in fact, in an open area. It's very low, but the ceiling, but this isn't like a giant cave or anything like that. You have to go much, much lower before you get to that point. And you can see really architecture that looks very much like the... Yeah, or you can see why I'm calling this architecture around here the very similar to the Undeadburg architecture, because you can kind of even see that the upper ends of these giant columns really are just the Blight Town, or really are just like the columns that hold up the upper Undeadburg and all that. So it's really neat. There's even some other destroyed areas here. You can kind of tell that this was definitely an area that had people in it before it was a giant, gross-ass poison swamp. You'll also notice that there are two sets of these awful fireflies coming at us. That's because there are two sets of infinitely spawning ones, and we just happen to be standing next to both of them. I don't recommend doing that. Over here, we meet some leeches. These are very useful leeches because they're not very strong, and they drop a lot of reinforcement items, so the reason I'm coming over here first is because I want to see if I can pick up a few of the shards that these guys drop before we end up going all the way back to Firelink and eventually to Undead Parish. This is a very good area for farming because there's a fuck ton of these things here. So the more humanity you can get, the better. Not getting very lucky on the drops right now. And really, alone, they're fairly rare drops, but there's so many of them in this area here that you can almost always count on getting some of the Titanite that I want to get from these guys. You do have to be careful, though, because if you don't block their attacks, they will hit pretty hard. Especially when you end up fighting a group of multiple ones. There we go. Large Titanite Shard. These things drop both large Titanite Shards and the green Titanite Shards that we need for Divine Weapons, so I really want to have as many of these as I can. Get poisoned again, but you will notice that when you're poisoned, your poison can't, like, build up any more than it already has. So that's why the whole poison strategy actually works fairly well, because it really isn't as dangerous as it feels when you're not in super dangerous combat encounters. So, like, whereas the top has a ton of enemies that can kill you, the bottom of the swamp really only has enemies that can kill you if you let your guard down. Except for one fairly important exception that we'll get to later. Come on. There we go. Green Titanite Shards. Definitely wanted to pick some of those up, especially because they drop them in groups of 5. So this is really one of the best places for you to go for them, or to farm for them if you want divine weapons and other types of weapons that will eventually show up. You will notice we're out of Estus, so we are in a somewhat dangerous spot here. Like, really, I want to not be taking damage from any of these things. And frankly, this might get me killed. There we go. Server. Oh yeah, I have other item descriptions, but I think I will read them after I am safely out of this area here. So, this area really... I'm just throwing out anything that comes to mind, by the way, but this area really presents you with a very different version of the basic Estus Flask system that you've had in the game, where your movement is restricted in the game by how much Estus you have. You know, it's designed around you being restricted in that way, that is. But this area sort of kicks it up a notch, where in most other areas, if you're good enough, it really doesn't matter how much Estus you have. You can just kind of get through everything as necessary. This one, though, really does put a hard limit on how much you can explore through this poison mechanic. As long as you're doing what I'm doing, and ooh, this is going to be a really close one. I get the feeling that humanity we got from Mildred might just... Oh, God. Woo! So, as you can see, there was really a hard limit on how far I could go that has not shown up in anywhere else in this game, and that would really be the biggest reason to kindle this bonfire here. So yeah, there's a ton of summon signs here, and you can really see this is what real player names tend to look like. Just, I'm surprised yeah, there we go. That's a good one. In fact, the way these people's hair looks the same, I'm actually kind of guessing that they're working together here. I'll probably summon someone for this, just because I haven't shown it off yet. Oh, right. I need to talk about the weapons that we dropped, like, forever, or that we picked up, like, forever ago. So, as I said before, the butcher's whatchamafuck is... The server was the one we picked up in the distance, and the butcher knife is this one. Giant butcher knife, wielded by the undead man-eating cook, lurking in the depths. Oh. Get out of here. God. More a tool for subduing and preparing live catches than an actual weapon. Those who have faced this deadly blade have a deeper sense of how helpless prey must feel. And then the server, a curved greatsword, used in mysterious ancient rite, imbued with a frightful occult energy, which restores HP with each hit. So this can be a fairly useful weapon. It does slash damage, where, interestingly, the butcher knife counts as an axe and does regular weapon damage. I did not actually know that, huh? What does our current sword do? It does regular damage, okay. Yeah, I can't remember actually how, right. Hello, infinitely spawning enemies! Wow, a lot of summon signs around here. I can't remember how all damage is broken up in Dark Souls, like what exactly regular counts as. I guess it's just, you know, a catch-all for everything that isn't specifically cutting or pushing, thrusting damage is the correct word. There we go. Let's see. Be wary of strong poison. So, that's a hint that up here is a really bad and dangerous area. Let's go explore it. Fire ahead. First we find this very strange wheel contraption. And it's a bit dangerous, but it is actually an elevator. And there's several of them, in fact. And in perhaps one of the goofier things in this game, if you look carefully at what's turning these giant wheels, it's actually a poor little dog. Oh, hello there. Can I hit you? Nope. Yeah, the other thing is your character, depending on what weapon you use, you might just not be able to hit them properly. It's really bad and annoying. Dead end ahead. Be wary of liar. I feel like I read those in the wrong order. Anyway, the only way to proceed for here is up. But then we are immediately presented with more options, because there's a ladder over this way. But there's also a path. I believe the way we want to take is the ladder, though. Again, this area always confuses me a little bit. So I may need to turn around at various times. Yep, I believe I am in the correct place. Hey there, buddy. So... just when you thought you might have gotten through the entirety of this awful toxic hellhole, there is one more challenge area. And boy, howdy, is it a challenge area. Having a bow or some other form of ranged weaponry can make this easier, but I wouldn't count on it. Kinda hope this works. Yeah, there we go. This cave is entirely filled with these toxic fuckers. And further down, just for your trouble, it even has dogs that will stagger you and make it easier. Let's see. I believe these guys can only fire a certain number of shots before they have to, like, take a break. So... Oh my god, your weak arm! Curse this weak arm. Alright, I guess we're gonna have to do this the other way. I'm not sure I recommend this. I really don't recommend this. Oh, this is a bad idea. Oh, this was such a bad idea. Oh, this was such a bad idea. Please don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. Okay, the way that I just did that, I'm gonna call that the bad way. That said, I do see an opportunity. Wow. It was a bad opportunity, and I was bad for thinking it wasn't. Oof. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay, let's try this again. So yeah, that dude right there is a bit of an ass, but he's not actually all that dangerous to you. Just because most of the areas that you'll be in will not. Like, he won't be able to properly shoot you in a lot of the areas you'll be in. Alright, so the key here is to do basically the exact opposite of what I did last time and try to aggro as few dogs as possible. One at a time, these guys are not so bad. All at a time, and these things will just kill you. Like, they do enough poise damage with their regular swings that you really can't, that you really just won't be able to get through them unless you get lucky enough to kill them all in one shot. There we go. You were not even supposed to be part of the challenge here, buddy. I'm calling you out. God, just look at this. Is there anything over here? I don't even remember. Nope. Just a big outway and more room for the poison dart guys to shoot at you. The fuckers. Ugh, so you might not think any of this is worth the trouble. Oh, wow, I don't think I've ever seen a poison dart shooter fall down here. But that item over there will actually make it worth the trouble. Oh, fuck me. This really is one of the most difficult areas, like, at this point in the game. Just this small part here, and it is all just for that weapon. Or, not weapon. It is definitely not a weapon. Alright, this time, for sure. We are in a fairly dangerous spot here, mainly because I have a lot of souls tied up in that bloodstain that I'd rather not lose. I guess we'll see how this goes. Boy, I did not want to kick there. Again, one at a time. You can handle two, but as I aptly demonstrated, let's say, they can also handle you pretty well. Oh, did he fall down? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Fucking die. Alright, that'll definitely make our lives a bit easier. Nice. It is good that I have a weapon that can one-shot these guys. I guess someone kindled the bonfire down there, because we just got an extra Estus flask. I can say words. Well, thanks for that. It might come in useful. Alright. Let's see if we can only get one of these. Perfect. Hello? Yep, there he goes. This is a good opportunity to attack him, I say, as he just comes and attacks me. I really do want to keep my health just as high as possible, because these things get me while I'm attacking, and I'm just going to die. Hello. It's kind of weird when they just stop like that. I wonder if that's intended behavior. There you go. Okay. For all of our troubles, and they have been many, we get another Firekeeper soul. This is, again, just such a difficult combat challenge, and I really like that they put it just kind of off to the side here. Like, you won't even encounter this on your main path. Everything I'm doing here is really just a side cut short path. Side cut short path, I just said that. Never mind. So, it really is meant to be that kind of, you know, if you are really feeling saucy, you can go for this. High poison resist gear helps, high fire resist gear helps, but just being able to keep your wits about you and being smart about fighting things is really the only way to get through this. But we did it, and I'm proud of us, so let's go onward.